Hey, English learners! Welcome back to the Open Mind Studio. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex.
So, Alex, I want to talk about focus. Real focus. The kind where you actually finish the thing. Because here's my day. I sit down to work, I pick up my phone to check one message, and 40 minutes later, I am watching a video about volcanoes. And I could not tell you how I got there.
The volcano. Yes. And nobody ever decides to do that. Nobody sits down and thinks, right, volcanoes. It starts with one message. Always one message. You just look up eventually and you're somewhere else entirely, with no memory of the journey. And then there's the bit nobody talks about. It's the end of the day, when you look at what you didn't do, and you quietly decide something about yourself.
That's it. That's the actual pain of it, isn't it? It was never really about the work. It's lying in bed thinking, what is wrong with me? Why can everyone else just do things? And you don't say that out loud to anyone because it sounds so pathetic.
And so you carry it on your own. Which is exactly why we wanted to do this one.
Exactly why. And here's the thing that took me years to understand. Focus is not a personality type. You are not either a focused person or a scattered person. It's a set of small, practical habits, and most of them are about setup, not willpower.
And that's genuinely good news, because willpower is a terrible plan. Willpower is like trying to hold a door shut against the wind. You can do it for a bit, and then you get tired, and the wind does not get tired. So we're going to stop fighting the wind.
And I have a personal stake in this one, because I spent years believing there was genuinely something broken in me, that everybody else had some quiet machine inside them that I'd been born without. And then my grandfather said one sentence that took all of it away in about 5 seconds. But I'll tell you what he said at the very end.
6 hours. All right, the first thing, and you can do it in about 10 seconds. Remove the trigger. Don't fight it.
Yes, because most of us try to focus by resisting. The phone is right there on the desk, it buzzes once, and you don't pick it up. You're being strong. But now half of you is wondering who it was. You might win for 10 minutes, and you've spent all your energy on not looking instead of on the work.
It's like trying to write an essay with a cake sitting next to you. You can ignore the cake, but now you're doing two jobs, writing and ignoring cake. So take the cake out of the room. Then it's just writing, and it's free.
So you don't need more discipline. You need a different room. Put the phone in a drawer, or better, in another room entirely. Not face down on the desk, because face down still buzzes. Turn the notifications off. Log out of the thing you always drift to. And here's the key. You do all of it before you start, while you're still feeling sensible.
Because the you who sits down fresh is a very reasonable person. The you at 3 o'clock staring at a hard paragraph is not to be trusted. That one will answer a message just to escape the sentence. So, listener, quick one. Right now, move your phone somewhere you can't reach without standing up. 10 seconds, and you've already made this easier.
Now, the second thing. And this one is for when you can't even begin. Shrink the task until it's almost silly.
Yes, because a big task is frightening, and frightened brains do not start. Write the report is enormous. You can't even see the edges of it. So, of course, you go and clean the kitchen instead. Suddenly, the kitchen is fascinating.
Suddenly, you're a person who cares deeply about cupboards. So you shrink it. Not write the report, but open the document and write the title. Not study for 2 hours, but read 1 page. So small that saying no would be ridiculous.
It's like cold water. You don't dive in, you put 1 foot in. Starting is the hard part, not continuing. Once the document is open with a title on it, the spell is broken, and almost every time you keep going.
And if you don't keep going, fine. You wrote a title. That's more than the version of you who never opened it. So, listener, take the thing you're avoiding and shrink it to a first step so small it's almost funny. Then, just do that one.
Now, the third thing, and this makes focus sustainable. 1 block of work, then rest on purpose.
Yes, because nobody concentrates well for 4 straight hours. That person doesn't exist. And if you try to be them, you'll do 90 minutes of decent work and 4 hours of guilt. So instead, you work in 1 honest block, and then you properly rest.
And properly matters. 25 minutes or 40. Pick something doable, set a timer, then rest. But rest means rest. Stand up, look out a window, get water. Not the phone, that's another job for your brain, not a break.
That's the mistake I made for years. I'd rest with my phone and come back somehow more tired than before. So let it be boring. Stare at a tree. Walk to the kitchen and back like a Victorian gentleman. So, listener, decide your block length now. 20 minutes? 40? Let the timer be in charge instead of your mood.
Can I say something about the guilt, though? Because I think that's the part that actually keeps people stuck.
Please.
Because it's a horrible little circle. You avoid the thing. Then you feel awful for avoiding it. And feeling awful is unbearable. So you go and find something that makes the feeling stop for 20 minutes, which is more avoiding. And round it goes.
And every lap of that circle, you think a little bit less of yourself. That's the real cost, not the lost hours. The thing you slowly start believing about who you are.
So if you take nothing else from this, the guilt is not helping you. It has never once made anybody start. It only ever makes the circle turn faster. You are allowed to have wasted the morning and still be someone who begins at 2 o'clock.
Still be someone who begins at 2 o'clock. Yes. Right. Where were we?
Now, the fourth thing. And this one is the great lie of modern life. Give your brain one thing.
Ooh, yes, because multitasking mostly isn't real. Your brain isn't doing 2 things at once. It's switching very fast and paying a little tax every time it switches. Do it enough, and you've spent the whole afternoon paying tax and getting nothing delivered.
And you feel incredibly busy, which is the cruel part. 14 tabs, a document, 2 chats going, and a notification arriving every 90 seconds. You look like a NASA control room, and at the end of it, you've produced 1 email, and it has a typo in it.
The NASA control room with 1 typo. So you do 1 thing, 1 tab, or as few as you can bear. Phone away, notifications off, and here's the one people forget. The notifications on your computer, too, because a little banner sliding across the corner of your screen costs you just as much. And if things keep popping into your head, write them on paper and deal with them later.
That one is genuinely powerful, because half of what breaks your focus isn't outside at all. It's your own brain going, "Don't forget the electricity bill." Write it down, and it lets go. So, listener, turn your notifications off and close every tab you don't need for the next 20 minutes. One thing.
Now, the fifth thing. And honestly, this one changed everything for me. Focus isn't staying, it's returning.
Yes, because here's what everyone believes. That a focused person sits down and their attention just stays. A straight line. And when our attention wanders after 4 minutes, we decide we're broken and give up for the day.
But that's not what focus is. Everyone's attention wanders. Everyone's. The difference between people who get things done and people who don't isn't that their minds don't drift. It's that they come back. And they come back without making a big drama about it.
So when you notice you've drifted, you don't sigh and call yourself hopeless. That's just more time away from the work. You go, back to it. No speech, no self-criticism, just a quiet return.
And every return is a rep. It's like a muscle. The drifting isn't the failure. The returning is the exercise. So, listener, next time you notice you've wandered, practice coming back gently. No frustration, just, back to it. That's the whole skill, honestly.
And speaking of returning, I believe it's finally time for your grandfather.
It's time. So, when I was in my early 20s, I was a mess about this. 14 tabs, 3 half-finished projects, always busy, never finishing anything. And I went to stay with my grandfather for a week.
What was he like?
He repaired old clocks. In a little back room that smelled of oil and wood, one lamp, no radio. And I'd walk past the door and he'd be bent over some tiny piece of brass, completely still. And an hour later, I'd walk past again, exactly the same position.
That's a rare thing to watch.
It genuinely was. And I remember standing in that doorway feeling something close to despair, honestly, because I thought, I will never be that. He has some gift I just wasn't born with. And I felt like a broken, jittery person compared to him.
So you asked him.
I asked him. I said, how do you do that? How do you concentrate on one thing for 6 hours? And Alex, he laughed at me. Properly laughed. And he said, 6 hours? Love, I can't concentrate for 6 minutes.
What?
That was exactly my face. And he said, I get up all the time. I make tea, I stare out the window, I forget what I was doing and have to find my place again. I probably got up 10 times this morning.
10 times.
10 times. And then he said the thing I have carried with me ever since. He looked at me and said, I'm not good at staying, love. I'm just very good at coming back.
Oh, that's lovely.
Isn't it? And it undid years of feeling broken in about 5 seconds. Because I've been trying to become someone whose attention never moved, and that person does not exist. Not even him. Not even the man who could rebuild a clock. He wandered off constantly. He just always came back to the bench.
So the still figure you saw in the doorway
Was just a man in the middle of his 11th return. That's all I was ever seeing, a snapshot. And I'd built a whole theory about my own hopelessness out of a snapshot.
And what changed for you after that?
I stopped counting how long I could stay and started counting how many times I came back. And that's a much kinder game because you can always win it. You can't control your attention wandering, but you can absolutely control whether you sit back down. And honestly, I finished things that year that I'd been carrying around for ages.
Because you stopped needing to be perfect at it.
Exactly that. So if you're listening and your mind has already wandered twice during this episode, that's not a problem. That's just being a person. Come back. And then come back again. That's the whole thing.
Very good at coming back. Should we look at the words from today?
Let's do it. Our vocabulary corner. Meaning first, then a few real examples. First, a distraction and to get distracted. Something that pulls your attention away from what you're doing.
For example, my phone is my biggest distraction. I got distracted halfway through. And there were too many distractions at home.
Next, to procrastinate. To keep delaying something you know you should be doing.
For example, I always procrastinate before big tasks. Stop procrastinating and start. And I procrastinated all morning.
And its everyday cousin, to put something off. Same idea, but this is the one people actually say out loud.
For example, I keep putting it off. Don't put it off any longer. And I put off that email for a week. So procrastinate is the formal one. Put off is the one you'd say to a friend.
Then, to concentrate on something. To give something your full attention.
For example, I can't concentrate today. Try to concentrate on one thing. And it's hard to concentrate when I'm tired.
Next, to lose your train of thought. When you're thinking or speaking and the thread just disappears.
For example, sorry, I've lost my train of thought. You made me lose my train of thought. And where was I? I lost my train of thought.
And one more, to be in the zone. That lovely state where the work is flowing and time disappears.
For example, I was really in the zone. Don't interrupt her, she's in the zone. And I finally got in the zone this afternoon.
And if any of those went by quickly, no worries. Play this part again and try one sentence of your own with a word you liked. So, let's pull it all together. Focusing well comes down to 5 things.
1. Remove the trigger instead of fighting it. 2. Shrink the task until starting is almost silly. 3. One honest block of work, then a real rest. 4. Give your brain one thing, not 14. And 5. Focus isn't staying, it's returning.
And the big one, from a small room that smelled of oil and wood. I'm not good at staying. I'm just very good at coming back. Your attention is going to wander. Everyone's does. You're not broken. Just come back.
And here's how to make it stick. Don't try all 5. Just take the first one. Move your phone out of the room before you start. That single change does more than an entire afternoon of willpower.
And come and finish this sentence for us in the comments. The thing I keep putting off is blank. Just fill in the blank in English. It's good practice. And honestly, writing it down is often the moment it stops being scary.
We read every single one.
And if this one helped you, a like, a subscribe, or sharing it with the friend who has 40 tabs open right now means the world to us. It's genuinely how more learners find us.
And thank you for spending this time with us. And notice, you just followed this whole conversation in English, right to the end. That was real practice. Feel good about that.
And there'll be a new conversation waiting for you here soon. So, until then, keep going, keep speaking, and go easy on yourself. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. See you in the next one. Bye for now.